I'm John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and we're here today to show you the adjustable torque driver with expanded field kit from Borka tools. Now this is the kit that I have right here, and this is the way it will look when you pull it out of the package. It comes in this really nice custom fitted nylon case from Tab Gear. Now when you open it up, make sure it's flat so everything doesn't go falling out. And flip open your two flaps, and then this is the torque driver right here. You get this little spindle and this beam scale here. Now to assemble it, all you simply do is unscrew this black knurled end from the spindle, and then you'll notice there's an index mark on the end of the spindle. You'll just find the torque setting you want, say 15 inch-pounds, and drop this index mark in on that side, making sure that this little T-bar here drops into the slot. Then we tighten down the knurled cap on the back side, and you don't need to get it super tight, just barely snug, and then you can slide the scale so it matches up exactly with 15. And then we're going to grab the knurled portion and give it a half turn, and there we're tightened down. Now we've been using Borka tools torque drivers for some time now, and the adjustable torque driver is an evolution of those. On the original torque drivers, they had preset torque settings due to the holes in the driver itself. If you needed something that was in between two of those torque settings, you were kind of out of luck. You had to go high or you had to go low. Well, with the adjustable torque driver, you have an infinite number of adjustments between 10 inch-pounds and 85 inch-pounds, so you can set it wherever the manufacturer specifies for the piece of equipment that you are working on. Now the torque driver itself is a all-metal construction. You have aluminum, which has got a really nice black anodized to it, or stainless steel, and the stainless steel has the scale etched into it really nicely here. And you'll notice on the torque driver we've got arrows on either side. We've got one arrow on one side indicating that you are on the light scale, and you have 3 arrows on the other side indicating that you're on the heavy scale, or the 30 to 85 inch-pound scale. Now to demonstrate, I've got our Cadex chassis Remington 700 sitting here, and I'm going to grab a bit that hopefully will correspond with one of our side plates here. Now the chuck on the adjustable torque driver is really nice. It's kind of magnetic with a mechanical locking component to it, and the bit snaps right in there, and then you just push it in until it locks. Now to release the bit, you just pull back on the collar and it kind of auto ejects. It's really neat. So just push it in and it locks, and we're ready to go. Now with any torque tool, how you hold it is really critical to getting the appropriate torque values, and Borka Tools recommends a specific way for holding the tool. So you're going to take your right hand, because the tool is designed to be used for right-handed people, and you're going to drop it in, and you're just going to put the spindle between your 2 fingers there. And we're going to curl our fingers over so that the back of the spindle goes right into the palm of your hand. And then we have these divots here, and that's for your thumb. So you're going to sit with the spindle, palm of your hand, divot on your thumb, and then you're going to place it on whichever fastener that you intend to tighten down. And we're just using the palm of our hand to push down. We're not using these fingers for any kind of twisting motion. They're just resting comfortably there. We're not using this like a T-handle. The only pressure is going to come from our thumb turning the tool. So make sure your thumb's in that indent, fingers are down, palms on the center of the spindle, and just push forward with your thumb until the tool breaks over. When the tool breaks over, you've reached your expected torque, and you're done. Now you can go on to your next bolt, and same thing. Very simple. Now let's say we wanted to do something like tighten the cross bolts here on our spur mount. Well, if we're going to tighten those cross bolts, first of all we have to grab our T20 Torx bit, and we're going to drop it in there, but we're also going to have to switch over to 45 inch-pounds for the cross bolts. This requires that we go to the opposite side, and again, see that the arrow's up saying I'm on the light scale right now. Well, we're just going to unscrew our knurled portion of our spindle here, And I'm going to take the torque beam and I'm going to find 45 inch-pounds. Take my spindle with the index mark and I'm going to drop the lug down into the slot there, turn it over, tighten the cap back down, just barely finger tight, and now I can slide this until it lines up perfectly with 45 inch-pounds. Again, half turn to tighten it up, and now we're ready to apply 45 inch-pounds. Now we're going to use the same grip, but we're going to modify it just slightly. I'm going to make sure that my index finger is right up here by the pivot point, and the reason for that is when we get on here and we apply torque and it breaks over, my index finger is going to kind of absorb that breakover, and so we're not going to get the hard snap that we normally would if I didn't have that in the way. If I didn't have that index finger in the way, it's going to snap all the way over to its stop, and it's kind of a little bit of a hard jar. It doesn't really matter, you're still going to get good torque, but some people don't really like that feel, so keeping your index finger there will allow it to break over and your index finger will stop it, and you'll get a little bit more gentle stop. And that's all there is to applying the 45 inch-pounds of torque that we need for the cross bolts on our spur mount here. Now, you do get a really good assortment of extra tools in our kit here. So I'm going to lay the driver aside, and the first thing is the way that the kit is laid out here. You need to decide which tool you want, and you need to push from the opposite side. So first, I'm going to pop out this side, and we have a 1/4 inch drive, 1/2 inch socket. It's really nice that the 1/2 inch socket has a 1/4 inch drive, so you minimize the number of adapters that you need. On the other side though, speaking of adapters, we have a 1/4 inch to 3/8 inch adapter. So if you have a specialized socket or something that you want to add to the kit, they already include an adapter to use most standard size sockets. Now pushing from the other side, we can pop out our assortment of hex bits here. And Borka Tools really did not skimp on these. These are hard chrome plated bits, and they actually have Borka engraved on the side of them, and they're retained in here really well. So they didn't just go with cheap bits, they went with specific bits for their kit, and they went the next mile and had them hard chrome plated. Now the hard chrome makes these about 200 times more corrosion resistant than your standard regular tool steel bits. They know these kits are going to be used in harsh environments, so these will let those bits last a little bit longer. They'll just work a little bit better for you. And these bits have worked really great so far. They're really high quality bits. So we have a good assortment here. We have both metric and standard hex. We've got Torx, we've got Phillips head, a good deal of flathead bits, and of course our adapter from hex to 1/4 inch, and more about that here in just a minute. Also included here in the middle, we have a 4-inch extension that has a chuck on the end of it for our bits, so you can drop a hex bit right into that chuck. And on the opposite side here, we can put our hex to 1/4 inch into that extension and use it on the end of our ratchet here. Now this ratchet is a really high quality ratchet, and it's got an exposed gear up here at the top, so you can run it with your fingers to rapidly tighten something down before you actually turn it with the ratchet handle, and just a flick of the switch and it reverses. Really comfortable ratchet to use. It's not incredibly heavy, but it's just about right on that quality to weight scale to be included in the kit. They didn't really cheap out on it. Really nice looking ratchet. Now of course you can also take your extension and use it with the driver, and that's a little bit much for most tasks, but you know, there may be some things where you need to get that extra reach. But you can also take this 4-inch extension and you can pull the chuck off of one end and you can pull the adapter off of the other end, and now you've just got a 1-inch extension. And sometimes 1 inch is all you need to get that extra reach. Sometimes like chassis bolts, you'll have magazine releases or other attachments and stuff in the way. And just that 1 inch gives you just enough to get the handle out of the way so you're not running into stuff. So overall, really nice additions Lastly, if you want to, you can just go ahead and use the knurled center of the extension, and you can use it like a little screwdriver. So really nice deal there. Now, one last little trick that the adjustable torque driver has up its sleeve is you can take the torque beam off of it, you can reassemble the spindle just like this, and now you've got a little micro precision screwdriver. So if you want to come in here and you've got a really small fastener that you want to tighten, then you can put it on here. You can just hold the chuck, because the chuck is free spinning, and you can tighten that guy down. So kind of nice. I don't know why you would use that as opposed to the extension here, but it's really cool. It ends up just kind of working like a little small precision screwdriver. Now, one thing that usually cracks me up when you have anything that is really well packaged, for instance backpacking tents, it's really difficult to get them back in the package and get them back in the way they came from the factory. Well, thankfully you don't really have to worry about it with this tab gear pouch and the way Borka Tools sets things up. So we can take our torque beam and slide it back in, take our spindle, slide it back in, our ratchet and extension just slide into the middle here. We're going to take our 1/2-inch socket and slide it back into its spot. Take our 1/4 to 3/8 adapter and slide it in. Our bits go back in, and there we go. Everything is back in its place, and we have these really neat little dividers to keep everything from rubbing or banging or clanking around in there. So you don't have to worry about, if you're one of these guys that needs to be in a relatively silent environment, you don't have to worry about metal tools clanking around on you as you're moving. Now, when we look down in the pouch here, you can see that we have space in between each one of the tool slots. So say you have something like a pen or other screwdrivers, and you can slide that right down in there. Say you're like me and you like to have rigger's tape on hand. Well, you can take a flattened roll of rigger's tape, and that will fit down in the pass-through really nicely. Maybe you have an instruction sheet or notes on torque values or something. You can slip that down in there. Maybe even some Allen keys to adjust your scope turrets or other small parts for your rifle. Well, that slots down in there really nicely. You could even go so far as, if you were working on AR, you could get a small castle nut wrench or something like that and cram that down in there. And then just fold your flap over, and it's really still nice and compact. And now you have a kit that is customized to do exactly what you need to do. Overall, I've been really impressed with the adjustable torque driver expanded field kit. It really has everything you need to work on a very wide variety of precision rifle systems, and it can really save your butt in the field or at a match. Very often I've gone to matches and I've had guys have their scope mounts come loose, or have something go wrong with the trigger and have to pull the action out of a chassis and clean things up. And this kind of setup allows you to either maintain your rifle at the field or do complete maintenance on it when you get back to the hotel at the end of the night. For an operational sniper where you're going to be out and you may end up having to maintain your rifle out in the field or repair something that's broken out in the field, this can definitely be the difference between accomplishing your mission or having to go back and get some work done in the rear. So really nice kit overall. I can definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about the Borka Tools adjustable torque driver and expanded field kit, please leave them in the comment section below or send them to us on Facebook or Twitter. If you like the video, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, get out and shoot.